So hello and welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. We're live from the Full Speed Event Studios. We're out in France at the moment, so in the old farmhouse studios, rather than the old beer cellar studios, and we're going to be bringing you all of the action as we get there. Now, we have got to say before we go anywhere, massive thank you to everybody who's made the Chaingang happen over the past season. This is the last one of this season. After this, well, we're taking a bit of a break. It's pretty manic at the minute. We've got lots going on, but we couldn't miss the very last Donny Chaingang of this season before we take a break for the summer. Now, our riders are lining up. You can see them just over there. And don't forget, of course, that we are going to be coming to you live back when we come back. But we'll be bringing you all the action now. We should hopefully be joined by Emma in the studio. That's going to take a little while, but hopefully going to be back here and into the studio in time to have a quick chat before we get to the go point of the ride. Don't forget, of course, that we're ending as we started with the very first of our commercial sponsors. That is OTE. They're the guys who are looking after the members of the DCG gang. And we are, of course, going to be having our giveaway. Now, if all goes to plan with the tech, bearing in mind that we've just done a massive change of country with the tech, you can see that the numbers are rolling way down there, and they are going to be representative. One number will represent one of our riders, and that basically is a rider who has donated for the month or for the season, from the start of the season to the end of the season, on the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, that basically keep the whole show on the road. So without them, Russ and myself wouldn't be able to make the rides happen, to make the shows happen. Now, with all of the support that the gang gives us, it is absolutely brilliant. So a big thank you. Now, the clock is ticking down. Let's show you where we're heading tonight. It is an old favourite. We are in Caspats. We're going to be heading to France and going to be making our way around this circuit. This is the Caspats circuit. So essentially from the start through the marina, around onto the Isle, past Mont Saint-Michel, head up through over the bridges, through the Pavé Sprint, over the Aqueduct KOM, run through the Balance Sprint and back round and head in. Now, I think we have the wrong map on there because that looks like RGV to me. That certainly doesn't look like the correct map. It should be heading down over the big mountain and then dropping back down and in. Russ is our leader. The distance is definitely right because we'll finish down at the Marina Sprint. And we will be finishing at 46.9. So, Russ leading us out. Our red beacon tonight is going to be Jason Stevens. So a massive thank you to Jason. And of course, this is the full map and the full profile here. So basically, I'm going to be heading out from our start. We go around this in a clockwise direction over the Isle. Come around through the Isle between 3 and 4K. We come past Mont Saint-Michel at 6K. We come inland from 7K, working our way through the Pavé Sprint between 10 and 11K. And then we come up the climb of the mini climb of the Aqueducts KOM. That runs from 12K through to 13 kilometers. That's the first point where it might split. We then drop down, head in and round, and then you can see we have the KOM itself. This takes us up. This is the Caspats part of the route, the real leg breaker, and that runs from 16.5K right the way up to 19.5. Is a knife top, a knife-edged summit. And the summit top is absolutely key to go through as close as possible together, because when you go over the top, the leaders will accelerate up from there at absolute rocket speed as they head down in through past the start point. And once again, remember, 2 laps of this to get us in and through. And as you can see, our riders, well, they are about to make their way out from those start pens. We're going to jump in with one of our regulars here on the game, and that is going to be with Simon Runnett. So we're up and away. We are on the ride proper, and you can see the riders starting to make their way out and away from the start. So it's the very last DCG this season. A quick reminder, please, guys, make sure you stay around the yellow beacon on the way through. So we will be being joined by Emma in a few moments. We're just going to get and have a check on our last riders. So we will leave you in the company with Mr. Taylor for the moment. So let's see how our road is going. Great to have John Wild from Velaviewer. He's going to be making his way in. Don't forget, of course, we have got a late join on the Chaingang tonight. Taylor just on his way in towards the finish at the moment. So our riders heading in through the start line and what will be the finish line here today. So the riders on the way through. This is the view that they're looking for. This is the banner that in 2 laps' time will signify the very end of this season's Donny Chaingang. Monumental moment in the Chaingang. So we have got Mr. Mason in here. He's here for 15 minutes. Good to have Gareth on board on the gang. And joining me in the studio, albeit briefly, because it is going to be a pretty crazy evening, because we've got so much on in the studios. I'm joined by the head honcho, official title, head honcho of the WOW DCG, and this is Emma. Emma Martin is with us. Emma, how are you doing?
Good evening. I quite like the introduction, though. I think just head honcho. You don't need to just put off the WOW DCG. Head honcho is fine.
Yeah, you wish. So great to have Emma on board and in the studio. And this is a course that we've used for the WOW DCG. I think we never managed this on the WOW DCG. Have we not done it deliberately?
Oh, maybe once.
Maybe once.
Maybe once. I think we've done Caspats once.
It's a cracking route.
We like RGV.
RGV's good. I like the France World, and it is. I quite like the fact that on the very last one we're actually in France with lavender fields that I drove past today. Didn't ride past them. It was a flying.
You don't need to drive past lavender fields. There's lavender in the garden.
That is very true, and there is out in France on the side of the road. That was the kind of point. That it is going to be very reminiscent. Now, a quick reminder for everybody. Standard rules apply. Stay round yellow, stay round yellow, stay round yellow until you reach the point that we head out. Now, it looks to me like Chris Ball taking on our duties as red beacon tonight. So a changeover in that beacon role from what we've got on our screen. So thank you very much, Chris, for taking up the mantle of that. And looks like we've got Foxy on board. We're just seeing the messages coming up. Bound to have some kind of change of jerseys. But as Russ is saying, the blob is looking good. Now, whilst the riders are on the way in and through, got to say, a cracking season of WOW DCG as well as the DCG.
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic this season. So 2022 into 2023 has been amazing. You know, we took the WOW DCG from once a fortnight to every week. And, well, you know, that was we did wonder whether it would go down every week. And it has. It's been absolutely fantastic. So real hardcore of riders, but also lots of riders dropping in, dropping out, using it when they need to. But also a lot of new riders this season, which has been absolutely fantastic.
It is indeed, and we've seen riders on the WOW DCG, people like Sammy Stewart go on riding on Continental Races, taking wins on Tour Series and so on, absolutely flying. Lots of our regulars on as well. We've seen some great performances in some of the seasons as well. Looks like Foxy tucked in to the gang, and she's been one of our regular beacons, and you've had red and yellow on the way through as being volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely. So this year on the WOW DCG, obviously, as most people are aware, I've had a rather large issue with long COVID this year, and last time I rode my bike was the July in real life Donny Chaingang meetup at Nonna's. And since then, I've had one or two returns to the turbo trainer, which is really good. And I'm hoping now, touch some wood, that this summer I shall get back out on a bike and be ready to go in September. But that does mean we have had a lot of volunteers, not just red beacons this season on the WOW DCG. We've had a lot of yellow beacons come in as well. And it has been absolutely fantastic to see other people lead the ride and how they do it. And everybody does it slightly differently. And what can you say other than Trace's, put your tables up, bring your chair back up, sort your peanuts out, and are you ready to go?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was has to be the quote of the WOW DCG, and that is in contrast, of course, because Russ has done the vast majority of the DCG as is normal. And we've seen, of course, Jimmy Allen jumping in when needed. And Jimmy, of course, a very, very capable leader, not just on the DCG, but out on real life as well. It's actually just for a job, basically. But Russ has taken on that mantle. And I know you were itching to do that this year, but not to be the case.
Oh,
planning on being back next year?
Oh, I'm desperately planning on being back next year. It has been so... I have loved commentating, absolutely loved commentating on the WOW DCG and on the DCG occasionally on a Tuesday or a Thursday. It has been absolutely brilliant to be able to stay involved and stay in touch with it. But boy, when I am watching it, do I absolutely want to be on a bike on a Wednesday with those women on the WOW DCG.
Definitely, and I think the Tuesdays and the Wednesdays and the Thursdays really have built a big community out there who've been riding not just, of course, on our screens, but they've been meeting up with the official in real lives, and also we've also been seeing people who've been meeting up independently of those, and even going to parties of people they never ever knew.
I know. Invites to 50th birthday parties in other parts of the country that you've never actually met in person before. I think that is absolutely brilliant and part and parcel of what has become the DCG community. It's been absolutely fantastic, and obviously the first in real life Donny Chaingang meetup took place a few weeks ago. There's another one planned for May. So, yeah, it's trying to work out at the moment how we can get into Nonna's on the in real life ride in time for lunch and do the broadcast that I know we've got that Sunday morning.
Yeah, that could be entertaining. It could be a rocket speed ride across, or maybe we should just to teleport ourselves over. We will see. That is a bit of logistics to go. Now, some other success stories on the Chaingang. Got to say, of course, a massive thank you to the members of the DCG gang. The Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. They donate every month. We've got ad hoc donations, a bit here, a bit there, but the staple of keeping the show rolling, of keeping the wheels rolling for Russ, and making sure that everything happens, are those members. They are the absolute lifeblood. And it's not hundreds and hundreds of riders. We're talking about a hardcore of about 60 riders across the course of the whole season who've done that donation. That is absolutely cracking.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And those that Donny Chaingang Supporters Club is absolutely the lifeblood of the event right the way through the season, and it's great to see them holding it all together.
It is, and of course lots of giveaways as well for those riders, so riders able to benefit from the donations and from the support as well. So we've got a huge roll call. We've got 1080 first of all. I've got to say a massive thank you to Ian, who's had some pretty tough times this season, and would be totally forgiven not being involved in any way, shape or form. But we had a fantastic giveaway from Ian with 3 pairs of full custom Oakleys, which were absolutely amazing.
Oh, do you know, you're quite right. Those 3 pairs of Oakleys given away in December, absolutely amazing. But let's not forget about all of the sponsors this season, and the things have been absolutely brilliant.
They have. Now, in 1080, of course, with a big discount on there. And I know you've been spending your hard-earned cash on plenty of the sets
I like
of
a
Oakleys.
collection of Oakleys. I note the word collection.
So following 1080, of course, across your screens, we have Continental. So Continental with Shelley Chance. Got to say a massive thank you to Shelley. And again, the guys at Continental having a very tough time. I've got to say, absolutely super proud of the gang and how they dealt with what was on there. I've got to say, just before we dive into that, a big thank you to Gareth Mason. He's absolutely kept us on our toes. An absolutely fantastic gent. And Gareth, if we ever get the chance to meet up in real life, I'll be buying you a beer or 10. An absolute star, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Gareth.
Get well soon and take it easy.
Yeah, take it easy, mate. So, go back to Continental and the guys over at Aberystwyth. Again, another tough time. We lost one of our regular members who sadly is passed away during the course of this season, and looked after. Everybody was absolutely amazing. And on a par with, of course, something that happened very early in the season where we saw the death of Queen Elizabeth II, and again another time when the Chaingang showed just how strong it is, and the respect they show to people is absolutely brilliant.
Oh, I agree completely. And, you know, the decisions that the riders make on the move, it really is like a real race, isn't it? You know, the decisions made out on the road, decisions made here on the DCG, appropriate responses to what's going on around at that point in time, and all credit to the gang.
Definitely, and a big thank you to Shelley. He very quickly, following on from January on to the February, that was their giveaway. It was February, and some amazing tyres. They are the Continental GP5000 all season. Great set of tyres.
And the Donny Chaingang riders were the first people in the country to have them.
They were indeed, and they were fantastic tubeless, big wide tyres. Super fantastic, fast, and all-season tyres, faster than the Grand Prix 4 season, and not much heavier, in fact, than the standard GP5000. So fantastic to see those in action. We have Velaskin, of course, new season, new you in January for keeping everybody. Got to say a massive, massive thank you to and in all the banks to Chris. I mean, we regularly see them on the ride, and they are absolute stars when it comes to keeping people sitting comfortably. And of course, don't forget the Velaskin, of course, gave away a year's supply of chamois cream. And that was actually won by GB Allen, of all people.
Hey!
So the wolf has the softest bum in the world. There you go. As the wolf sitting comfortably, then we may begin. Right, next up after that, of course, we have Halo. Now, Halloween is, of course...
Oh, it's just absolute pure bliss, isn't it? Pure Donny Chaingang.
It's absolutely classic Donny Chaingang. It is fantastic to see Halo in there and giving away... They give away big discounts all through the season, as have all of the guys. But also, of course, has been really, really instrumental in terms of keeping the wheels rolling as well. So fantastic stuff to the team at Halo. Great to see the messages coming in on the board as well, because it's the last one. Got to say, Chris saying fantastic, keeping me pedaling as well. Brilliant to see that on the way through, and great to see the messages coming in. Now, got to say, Nonnas, of course, you mentioned them already, are one of the institutions of cycling in Sheffield. Got to say a big thank you to Stefano, who came out and rode on the gang and the in real life gang. Got around the very first
I
one
don't
of
think
those.
he was expecting to do 100k.
I don't think he was.
Or was it 100 miles? I
no,
can't
it was
remember.
100k. It wasn't 100
But
miles. 100k.
I didn't think he was expecting to do that, but all credit to him.
Indeed, and some great giveaways. And I know that the gang have been going in and out of the Nonnas, whether or not we've been a part of the giveaways or not. But, of course, those great giveaways in there. Brilliant to see. And don't forget, of course, a big, big thank you to them for looking after the riders. A big giveaway from them. Gritty, I mean, amazing, absolutely superb support. Neil from Gritty is an absolute uber fan.
Yes, and he is indeed on the ride tonight. I've seen Crosscast Neil.
He is indeed. And I think it was Neil twisting Caroline's arm. Caroline, of course, is the head honcho of Gritty. Neil is just the lackey. But he actually managed to put Caroline's arm up her back and said, no, we're going to continue. And they have supported since the formation of the DCG gang. The sustainable kit is there. Neil saying boo. Love my Gritty jersey, says Simon Run It.
And I have to say, the evolution of the kit and the new colours and the new designs that are coming out from Gritty, it is a good looking kit.
It is indeed, even if it, is never going to hide my bulges. It's been slightly on the too many pizzas side, but do you know what? I have to say, I absolutely love it. And I've got to say, brilliant, the riders using it and supporting it. And of course, knowing that you've got a minimal impact.
Exactly.
In terms of the environmental sustainability. Going to be very, very interesting. Dick Samall there rode Amstel in Gritty leggings, really comfy. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic to see. And don't forget, you can catch up with Gritty and loads of the guys out and around. I know Gritty will be at the National Mountain Bike Series. They'll be at the National Crosses. They're going to be at events all the way through the summer as well. Go down, see Neil, see Caroline. I mean, they practice what they preach. They're on the gang. They're regularly racing. They're regularly riding. They are absolutely live, breathe, and sleep cycling, and are absolutely key. And I've got to say a massive thank you to them as well. And last but not least, Annie and OTE. What do we have to say about Annie and the OTE gang, that without them I would weigh substantially less?
Only because you're addicted to the salted caramel flapjack.
And the Anytime Protein drink post-ride as well.
That's true.
And got to say, a massive, massive thank you to them. They started off support, and they're going to finish the season on the support. They gave away, I think it was to 1 in 4 people got prizes on the first giveaway. And by my reckoning, and this is only approximate, so don't quote me on this, I make it that we are going to be on 1 in 6 on this one as well, getting £30 worth, which includes the Hydro Tabs in the new pineapple flavour, my new favourite flavour.
Yeah, and if anybody on the gang tonight has actually received, I know people have been receiving their OTE prizes because people have been dropping it onto the Donny Chaingang Facebook page. So if you are on the ride and you have tried the new pineapple, let us know what they're like, because are they better than the orange? Because I don't think we can top the orange, but I would love to hear from someone who's tried them.
There you go. So hopefully they'll get in touch with you, Emma. And don't forget, of course, you can get in touch with us at Biking Emma and at Matt Fixpain on social media. Right, okay. Now we should go from here directly in to a couple of people who are not in front of the cameras, not behind the mics or necessarily on the bikes, but two people who are very, very key. Got to say a massive thank you to Gail Phillips. Gail has stitched together our amazing red beacons on the DCG, getting the riders a massive thank you. Massive, massive thank you to Gail. Absolute superstar. Has been managing our red beacons and the spreadsheets for a long, long time. So, Gail, a big, big thank you to Gail. And to Mark Chamberlain as well, who is the man who looks after the website. And a big, big thank you to him. So, a big thank you to Mark and Gail regularly on the Chain Gang as well. Now, talking about people who ride bike, there's one person who we haven't really mentioned, and it would be absolutely remiss of us not to. And that is, of course, the one and only Fonzie Downing, the bear himself. Because, of course, it was Russ's bright idea, I'll never forgive you, mate, for coming up with the Chain Gang in the first place and saying, can we put it online? How should we do it? Let's get it on Zwift. Can we put a show? And from that has evolved the whole community. So Russ's brainchild is there, and he's still pedalling away. We've in the time that we've been doing the Chain Gang, we've had a pandemic come and go. We've had the death of a monarch come and go. We've seen, we'll have not quite seen a new.
Well, I was about to say, how many prime
crown.
ministers has the Donny Chaingang seen?
It's outlived most of them. Their tenure in 10 Downing Street. I'd probably 4. Maybe 5. I don't know. I've lost count. There's so many. They come and go these days faster than buses. And don't forget, of course, that we.
Your favourite, sorry, I was just watching the screen, 31st of New Year's Eve Donny Chaingangs. What is your favourite Donny Chaingang?
Reach for the skies, obviously, on the end of year. Reach for the, end the year on a high. 2020 up the Elm. So as the riders are on their way around past that pave sprint, I've got to say a massive thank you to Russ for coming up with a bright idea for doing all this, and he's still here. And not only that, we've seen the mini bear arrival.
I know, that's
in
true.
terms of norm, so congratulations once again, Russ. I mean, I know we've said this like 1,000 times, but great to see the next generation of Downings of the bear arrive as well. And
but will the Donny Chaingang still be going when Norma is old enough to ride it?
I don't know. I'm not sure who will have behind the mic, that's for sure. So a big thank you to Russ and the gang, and of course to Russ's family and to ours as well, for letting us give up generally about 3 days, if not 4 a week, to do this. So, right, next up, let's get on with the giveaways. We are just coming past, you see, the lavender fields at the side of the road.
Is that not heather?
No, it's lavender, it's France.
Oh, sorry, we're in France, not Scotland, are we?
Yeah, we're in France. That's lavender fields. That is almost what they look like out on the real countryside at the moment. They're not quite so well developed at the moment.
They're not in bloom yet.
They are just starting.
Just.
You wouldn't know. You didn't see the fields. I was out there today.
Oh, we're not having a domestic.
We could do, just keep everybody amused. Let's not do that. But let's do a giveaway instead. So I tell you what, when we come up to the top of the Aqueduct KOM, when Russ goes over the top of the Aqueduct KOM, let's hit the stop button on the first of our giveaways. We've got to do 2 giveaways because we were travelling on Tuesday and there was no show. So, let's keep an eye on Russ. Let's get this camera dialed, hopefully, up above. Should we use the helicopter shot or should we use the proper overhead shot? We better use the proper overhead shot. We will go over to that. So, the riders on the way through here. Now, Craig Forrester saying, has this always been cobbled? No. Good spot, that man. It has not always been cobbled. It has been changed, and it has been changed, I think, for the better on the way through. Now, our riders on the way up this climb, we're going to get our giveaway screens rolling so you can see the numbers are rolling. We're going to get Emma to shout when Russ crosses the line. I'm going to hit the stop button, and Emma's going to read who the first of our winners are. This is called teamwork. This is not something that necessarily always works in the studio, but we'll give it a try. What the heck? So, we're going to pull up our giveaway number screen. Emma's going to keep watching this screen here, and when Russ goes over the top of the climb and underneath the gantry, you can see he's making his way through the bunch, telling the back to push on and the front to ease off. When Russ goes over the gantry, that is at the point under the gantry. That's the point at which we are going to hit the stop button. You've got to shout at Emma. I'm going to hit the button.
Okay.
You shout it. I'll play it, kid. Dum 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 dum.
I've got music going in my ears.
Dum 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 dum. I've got the crowd in mind. Right, you ready? Steady. Not long.
Go!
Right. Number
37.
Which is
Tracy Seeley.
No way. So
Yay.
So the eternal moaner.
She's not a moaner. She's a cool yellow beacon on the WoW DCG.
She's a moaner. She moans about not winning. She moans about not getting anvils. She has just won. So, Emma, if you would like to write number 7, because that's the 7th of our giveaways. Here we go. I told you, about time. That's what we get. I tell you, some people are never grateful. Brilliant. Right, let's start the clock again, because we've got another giveaway to do in a little while. So let's dive away from there. The first giveaways tonight is done. Let's dive in with the riders. Just staying in with Russ at the moment, and the gang are on the way through. So if Tracy Seeley's number comes up again, in the next draw, then Tracy can't win 2. It is 1 rider, 1 prize. So down the cobbles off the aqueduct. Again, cobble descent on the way through. Another great addition. Loving it. Nice part of the updates. Just hitting Zwift on the way through. And you see the gang looking good at the moment. Looks like pretty much everybody all tucked in together. Let's have a little bit of a roll around. We need to pull it down. We need to pull the next one somewhere key that's not the summit. How about when we go across the line in the marina, and then at that point you can go run away and go do all of the prep on the way through.
Never had OTE. Is it good?
Who says that?
Oh, Tracy, you are in for a treat.
And all those discounts that have been on there on the giveaways might
Personally,
make it even
my
quicker.
favourite, white chocolate protein shake.
Yeah, definitely.
Also makes fabulous buttercream for your Victoria sandwich cake.
So you can have a Victoria sponge sandwich cake with OTE protein powder in it.
Yeah,
basically.
just up the level of protein in your cake.
That
what
is
more of a
sounds ideal.
combination should a cyclist want? Protein, recovery, cake.
Perfect, sounds good. Good to see Ruby Isaac is back in with us. Young Ruby, one of our younger riders, and back in with us. Ruby has been on the DCG and the WOW DCG. You'll see her out and riding regularly on the rollers, internet sensation on there, and riding in real life as well. And whilst we're talking about younger riders, another of our fantastic success stories, it's great to see him getting his arms in the air on the road.
Ooh.
It is the one and only Tom Lindley.
Yeah.
Great to see Tom in action and riding. Somebody who basically started going out riding his bike. Then Vin brought him on to the Chaingang. He's ridden the Chaingang. He's won the on the Chaingang, and now he's out and winning out in on the road. Racing against Isaac Oliver quite regularly, who's also on the gang tonight. But I've got to say, well done to all of our younger riders. Tom's on there. So congratulations to everybody who has been out and racing. And it's not just our younger riders. Steve Wilson returned to racing after having ridden on the Chaingang and getting the competitive urge back again and getting fit and getting fast.
Yeah, Emma Gilbert must have had 20 FTP increases this DCG season.
That's got to be a record.
It has to be, honestly.
No, did we get Tom his first pair of shoes? That was there was indeed a whip round of kit for Tom from the gang, mostly because he was out there on basically on his way through, and pedals. There was all sorts flying about and round. Brilliant to see. Cleats, excellent. Clipless pedals, always the way forward. Now, still more cobbles. It was definitely Tom. After Russ went out with him in trainers, we put it on the show, and magically we found a whole load of kit flying in his direction. Brilliant to see. Right. Thank you for joining us, Ruby. Ruby just jumping off the gang there. So a massive thank you, Ruby, for coming and joining us on the last one. I think just spinning those later on now, unless she's going to go kick up to speed. Maybe it was dropped bottle.
Who knows?
We will soon
Oh,
find
yeah,
out.
yeah. So Ruby is now kicking at around 4 watts per kilo. She's just dropped off the pace again a little bit there.
Keep going, Ruby. You will get yourselves on with the Red Beacon group and Tristan from the gang. Let's have a little look. Oh, Ruby's she's on a charge here. Come on, Ruby.
I think she's had a technical issue, and I think now she's just off the back of the group.
Well, I'll tell you, somebody who can get right back in is going to be Ruby, particularly as we come in to the climb. Now, key on the climb. How many times do you think I'm going to say this before we get to the top? When you get on to the climb, ladies and gentlemen, please, 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 make sure you don't go off the front over the top, because it splits the rest of the group. Please do not go off the front. You will damage the rest of the group. It's that straightforward. You tear the group apart. Don't do it. It's the last one.
Yeah.
Don't give Rust. Don't poke the bear on the very last one. My goodness. That would be foolish.
It is always one of those challenges, isn't it? It is the momentum of going over the top and picking up speed on the downhill section that just elongates those gaps. Yeah, so just I'm looking back, Matt, at the moment, and it's looking like, I think, that Ruby is getting back on.
Let's have a look. I think you are right. There she goes. So let's take a little bit of a check towards the back of the group. Let's drop our way down the gang. Let's not go maybe that far. Here we go. Ruby,
There you go.
tucked in.
No problem whatsoever.
Don't want to jump back to the full speed events gang on here. So there is a full lap to go when you get back down to the marina, Mr. Williams. Chris is back in. Got to say a massive thank you to Chris as our beginner, and great to see him back on the bike and riding well as well. Somebody who I'm sure is going to be back in action now and racing as well. So Ross tucks in nicely in with the gang, and looks like we've got pretty much everyone in. Mick Hawkins in here, Mr. Lindley. This is the rider we were talking about just a few moments ago. Gone for the full-on aero
yes,
option.
isn't
Yeah, fastest setup on Zwift.
He's planning for a sprint, I think, there.
Yeah, I think for when the hammer goes down at the 3 Gs, the 3 Os, etc. Interesting to see Foxy tucked right
Actually,
in
there's
there.
a lot of people have chosen the same bike and wheel combination tonight.
It does, doesn't it? Very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. Okay, Mr. Osman, and here's the Stevens as well. You can see Rob Wimble in here. Real who's who of cycling. Rob, another of our gang members.
Yeah, and the winner of the Nonners, and photo out on Facebook of he and his, I was going to say better half, but perhaps I should just say, enjoying dinner at Nonners with company.
Yes. With Heather.
Yeah.
Can't say better halves anymore. It's highly inappropriate, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah, apparently so. Glad you got caught by that, not me. Well done. Do it today, don't do it tomorrow. If you're wondering what we're talking about tomorrow, we have a 7-stage, $1 million prize fund stage race on eSports.
We do indeed, over the next 8 days, because there is one rest day.
Yes, I'm not sure what we're going to be resting other than our voices.
We should be eating lots of ice cream on Tuesday.
Yes, my idea of heaven. Sunshine and ice cream. And not talking all day. It'll be very quiet.
Oh, yeah, we could have a sponsored silence. It'd be quite easy.
No. Speak for yourself. Definitely not. Definitely not going to be easy. So our riders are nicely on the way up here. Good to see Mr. Williams has only done this on 3 hours sleep. Not sure I'd want to do the Chaingang on 3 hours sleep. Not the easiest of things. Reminds me of Long Hill into Buxton, near that Sheffield place this time I'm running. No, it's nowhere near as bad as that. Just to squeeze into the back with Mr. Ball. Good to see Mr. Robertson on board as well. Dave Robertson back in with us. Dale Williams in here, pal. Simon Knight in as well. Gillard Sadler, Ferren. Donahoe in here, Mark Chamberlain on board. We were talking about Mark supporting us and helping us on the way through. Now, one set of people we haven't mentioned so far are absolutely critical, not just to me or to Emma, but to every single commentator in the world operating today. Quite simply, VeloViewer are indispensable. Absolutely indispensable. You'll have seen that they are our graphics of choice when it comes to the show and the climbs, and giving you a graphic representation of what we've got in store. It's actually also really, really key to the running of the races, both in real life and on the DCG. We use it to work out where the routes go, where the splits are likely to go, where we're going to be sitting in there, where we're fitting in. Really, really key for us. And there's a lot more detail that commentary teams can get as well over the professional account. The pro account is what you should all be on. It costs you a subscription on top of your Strava. Basically, it nicks all the best details out of Strava. It doesn't, they work in corporation. But it basically takes all of the best bits of your Strava details and turns them into something that is incredibly usable indeed. So when you do that, have a look. Year end is brilliant. It's fantastic to have a look at what you've done, what you haven't done, where you've gone. It's really, really key. Now, Gotta say that the man who is here tonight from Velaviewer is probably the fastest old dude on a bike I have ever come across. And I've come across quite a lot of very fast old dudes on bikes. But John Wild is regularly in at the kill. He's regularly in when things go very, very quick indeed. And he's here tonight. So John from Velaviewer is on board. This man looks like this in real life as well. He's got the same beard. I've seen John ride and race on things like the Urban Cross. I've seen him out and racing on a variety of formats. But I tell you something, John Wild is amazing. Gotta say a massive, massive thank you to John and all of the team at Velaviewer, because they are absolutely critical in keeping the show on the road. Please, 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 if you think that we have used them to death and you would like to support them, to say thank you, join, get your membership paid. It is next to nothing in terms of subscription. Please make sure you do that. So, riders coming up towards the top of the climb. Craig Herring, just going to say... he's not fallen out with us. He's been on here. Thank you very much to everybody who's reached out and spoken to him. Craig, you know you're more than welcome around any time at us. It's not very far from your house to our house.
Well, the house in
the one in the UK.
Derbyshire.
If you want to come out to France, you're more than welcome, buddy.
You are indeed.
However, it's a little bit further.
But it's definitely warmer, I'll tell you that.
That is definitely true. Now, keep for our riders, please, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure that you are in with the gang as you come up over the top. Any splits on here will destroy the gang. Our red beacon is going to need to push up severely at the moment, Chris. Push, push, push. You need to be on here. If there is more than a fag paper between you and the tyre in front, yeah, it's an old term.
That's
fag
a
paper
very
clearance.
old term.
Yeah, we used to build frames with fag paper clearances. My first Bob Jackson fixed wheel track bike, not fixie, that's for plonkers down south. A fixed track bike, my first track bike, had fag paper clearance, and when the tyres stretched, you had to take them off and replace them. That is how close the clearances were. Now, if you're on the front, you need to ease, and if you're on the back, you need to push, and you need to push now because you will be distanced. If you are a lighter rider, this is your warning. You will be left behind. You need to push and push like hell. Ken, on his way through now. Ken is making his way down here. Let's see if Ken's got an anvil or similar. He's going to need to keep the pace above 50 odd kph. So Ken, Chris James up here. Chris is slightly tired. Chris, it's a family show. Come on, mate. You know the rules. I'll take that as a misspell. So Ken's saying, okay, you crack on. Just taking a look. I got Dr. D on his way through. So good to see Rowan on board. Another rider who's had to do a comeback post illness and injury, making his way up here and looking good. I love the fact that Dr. D always has the same kit. Are you listening, Foxy? Dr. D always has the same kit. I can spot him anywhere.
Yeah, nobody's allowed to take offence at Matt talking about Southerners and Northerners. He married a Southerner.
And my mum's from Kent, my dad's a Cockney, and my family's originally from France.
It just happens that you were born in Leeds.
And my mum and dad love being up north, in Yorkshire.
You know.
And they've not moved from it. I am Yorkshire born and just about bred at the moment.
That bit's debatable.
Careful, it's a family show. Okay, so looks like the gap has opened. The bus is going to form, and I suspect Chris is going to have the company of Rowan, of Chris, and of Ken. And Ken, I've got to say, always good. Now, Mr. Chamberlain, thank you very much, Mark, for coming on the very last gang of this season. He's got a dash in a Mo ride on. Fantastic. Where Bisa is proper south. Yeah, definitely that is proper south. Okay. Splits occurring. Let's see who's going to get back on again. Looks like Russ is at the back of the splits. So that's going to be entertaining as we come into the line. And Russ has got Ruby Eyes. He's got a whole gang with him. Russ is not going to go crazy, I would imagine, on the way through and try and get a read for him. He won't want to drop Matt Nunn on the way through. Matt, who has been one of our official lap counters. Matt, of course, one of the regulars on the tour as well, working with the gang at Sweet Spot with a certain Mr. Andy Hawes, who is just up the road. Right. I like making that noise, you know. Used to do it as a kid running around the streets. Like
I bet you did.
Bleeding knees and dirty hands and face, making motorbike noises. Okay. So this is the chasing group who are going to try and get back together again. Now, Emma, whilst they're coming back together again, I hope you are ready for your mission.
Oh, my mission, should I wish to accept it?
Dum, dum.
Or do I not get a choice as to whether I accept it?
No, you don't get any choice. Let's not go above Matt. Let's go above Russ. Once again, there's a reason for this because it's totally arbitrary. It's definitely not a Russ flyby. It is a Russ joining the group. So we're up above Russ at the moment. Let's pull up the giveaway screen. We are going to give away our very final set of goodies from OTE. It's rolling. We're turning the turn. Emma's going to call it. When we stop, it will hit a number. That number will relate to a member of the DCG gang to say thank you. Our very last thank you in terms of goodies.
43.
So it's not going to be number 42. Number 42 is Neil Kerry. It's going to be number 43. And he's at the back because he was the last person to join this month. To say, it's me old mucker from Scotland. It's Tristan Emptage. Tristan from Chevin Cycles. Tristan Emptage. Tristan, you are the man who's taken the win. And he's on tonight. I know he's here because I've seen him. And he's absolutely flying. So Tristan, so I can tell you lots of stories about Tristan, but I won't. Because he was a very fast rider. And he used to give me a right old pasting. And Tristan Emptage is going to take our very last prize. So Tristan, we will be in touch on the email with you and with Tracy. And I'm looking for Tristan on the way through. I'm looking for the kit. He usually rides in the black and white kit with a flat cap on. He was here earlier. Proper Yorkshire flat cap. First person to spot him gets an ice cream, Emma. Don't tell me he's gone home already. See John Hind in a flat cap. Get my drone camera up. just like the coppers. Just like the coppers, we're going to go have a look for him. Can we see him? Not sure I can. I think we may have lost Tristan. That would be a sad day. There you go. He wins, and he's not here. Indeed, he's not. There
That's
you go.
okay. It will be more of a surprise when he gets the email.
It will indeed. I know Tristan watches the show. He's up the front. There he is.
There he is. That's why you couldn't see him.
He's up top left-hand side of the screen. Tristan, we're coming for you. Dun, 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 dun. Heading up to the front. Somewhere. Up near here. Ah!
There you go.
Mr. Emptage, tonight, it's you. You're our final winner. Tristan has supported the gang throughout this season and the previous. And got to say a massive thank you to Tristan from chevincycles.com and just as importantly from Harrogate. So he's proper from Harrogate, not Harrogate.
Harrogate.
Not Harrogate. It's not Southerner. So well done, buddy. We'll be winging you some goodies from OTE.
Look at
from
that.
the team. And they're only just down the road from just down the road in Leeds. And I think Tristan probably knows half the team who work with OTE one way or another. But good win, buddy. Fantastic stuff. Good to see another of our regular supporters on the gang taking a win of OTE. So congratulations to you. Right, Emma, thank you very much for joining me in the studios. Any last words before you take it out back and get sent to do a whole load of homework
I
for
am
the
off
coming
to do
shows?
some research for tomorrow morning's show because we've just had some start sheets through. So a late night tonight. But words of wisdom. I don't have any words of wisdom, but what I do have to say is thank you ever so much, everyone, for making the WOW DCG what it was this season. Thank you ever so much to Russ. Thank you ever so much to everybody else, all of our yellow beacons, all of our red beacons. It has been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully catch you sometime in real life if we can work it all out. Otherwise, looking forward to September.
Thank you very much, Emma. Right, we're going to let Emma leave the studio, so we'll be back in a brief moment. So, back in the room, Tristan in with the group. Our riders on the way round on the last of our DCG. Now, let's take a little bit of a roll back towards the bus. The bus is rolling. Brilliant to see. It's on the road, and Chris Ball in here with Ken Kerrigan and with Dr. D as well. Don't worry, guys, I'm sure there will be plenty of people heading your direction very shortly. Because we've got Andy Hawes on board, and that's no connection between those two, because Andy, we know, more than competent rider. So Russ just making his way in through the gang with Andy Hawes. We're both riding on Pinarellos, both, of course, regularly on there. So let's have a little bit of a check. Andy looking good on there. The Pinarello and Asos Ambassador, a regular rider, and of course, a man who's very, very busy in the build up to the Men's Tour of Britain. And good luck with that, Andy. I hope all goes to plan. So don't forget, you need to make sure you're on our Facebook pages. That is on the Donny Chaingang Facebook page. There will be details, any special events that are coming up. There will be any of our regular in real life rides. Any support you need. Remember, this is community. The aim is to look after each other. There is always somebody to talk to. Always somebody to talk to. So please, 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 please make sure that you are talking. There's always somebody who will chat. So please, guys, make sure you do that, whether that's Russ, me, or the rest of the gang. Good to see Neil nicely tucked in here. Simon running in here. Mr. Bolton on his way through. Simon Oxenham up near the front. No surprises there. One of our regulars on the gang. Somebody who we expect to be in at the finish, as is Rob Farty. I got to say a big thank you to all of our professional riders who've come along and supported. We have had riders who've been riding the men's and women's Tour de France. We have riders who have ridden it. We've got people like Ben and Colin Swift over the winter. We've got both Mercedes Lynn and some regulars on the gang as well. Got to say a big thank you to all the women's peloton who's been on, particularly our yellow beacons from the pro ranks who have been in ripping it up and doing such an amazing job as well. So a big, big thank you. Now, this may be the last one, but that doesn't change the fact that at some point there will be the 3 Gs and the 3 Os called by the one and only Mr. Downing. He will be calling that somewhere on the way through. Now, we don't know, as always, when that's going to be. We don't have a Scooby-Doo when Russ is going to call it. It can't be very long, I would imagine, but who knows when it will be. The group is looking good at the moment. The question will be when will he pull the pin and let this go. Russ usually has a place on the course in his head. We're just coming up to Mont Saint-Michel. Some great scenery here in here, and I have to say, very reminiscent of the roads that we've been out and about in at the moment. Lots of the fields getting that bit greener. The sunflowers just about starting to make an appearance. And the lavender fields doing the same. Plenty of greenery on the trees before we get into the height of summer, and it gets incredibly hot. But I won't upset anybody by telling people that yesterday and today it's been suntan weather. So make sure plenty of sunblock on this summer. We want you all coming back in one piece at the end afterwards. There have been some details on the Facebook page of the Wild DCG actually heading out this direction, so feel free to jump on the pages, give us a shout on there. So for those of you listening, let's just get you the message from Russ. Before we go, a massive thanks for the support on the DCG. Russ sending his thanks out to everybody. And I'd echo that as you've heard earlier on. A big thank you to Emma, of course, for jumping in. As we sit in with Mr. Oliver, and I can't imagine it's going to be long. So let's jump off our giveaway screen. Let's get back to our ride proper. We've done enough featuring the riders. So it is go, go, Gio, go, 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 go. Here we are. This is go, go, go time. The hammer has gone down. The pressure is on. Let's see who is going to be up there. Leo Mazzoni in with the gang. Once again, he's already making his presence felt on the very front of affairs. And you can see we are starting to tail the back of this group out. You can see that up on your screens as we come down alongside Mont Saint-Michel in the background here as we start to run away from that. It's being led out. Simonite of Sitwell CC is on the very front. He's got Donahoe just going over the top. Vin and Tracy, of course, doing an amazing job with Keith of Stitching Together are in real life meetups for people in and around the heartland of the Donny Chaingang. I've got to say a big thank you to them. So the go-go-go's happened. We're just starting to see riders get tail off at the back of this group. So looks like the bus behind is going to start to see Mr. Woodward, Mr. Flynn, Isaacs, got Crease, Raccoon, Gillard, I think Atkinson just hanging on at the back of that group. Quick message come in from Michael Clark. Homer, not riding tonight because I'm going cycling in Mallorca tomorrow morning, but I'd like to thank Russ, Emma, and myself for all the hard work we've put in over the past months. I've loved every DCG ride. Once again, a massive thank you to everybody. I am watching the broadcast, though. Thank you, Michael. Michael, one of our regular people who message, not just during the DCG, but during the WOW DCG. I'm always interested to hear what people are up to, whether you're on the gang or not. We're one big community. So thank you very much to everybody who has watched. Please, please, please do keep the social media going. It's absolutely critical in the commentary again that we keep the profile there. And we do give up a frankly ridiculous amount of time on the Chaingang, week in, week out, and that actually happens all the way through the year, not just when the gang is rolling. So a big thank you to everybody who has helped us do that. It really means a lot. Now, Mr. Taylor off the front, the man who took the victory when we had Hare and Hounds on the way through in Richmond on last Thursday when Jimmy was sitting in for Russ this time round. He's not going to get quite such the same ride. I think it's going to be a little bit tougher tonight because everybody is all together from the off, so it's likely to be a more aggressive, less steady-paced chase. So a big thank you to everyone who posts out on social media. We'll go dive back on to that. So a quick reminder, don't forget, if you're posting about the Chaingang, make sure you put in there at Fonzie Downing, at Russ Downing. It is at Bikeflex and at Cycle Espresso for Russ. Don't forget at Downing Cycling, of course, absolutely key for us in the coaching. Don't forget, of course, it's at Matt Fixer Pain and at Biking Emma at Full Speed Events. And that covers all of the broadcast, commentary, the ticketing, the organisation, the DCG gang, and of course all of the links to our sponsors. Don't forget, please, if you do purchase anything, buy anything, use the discounts, please make sure you mention the Donny Chaingang. So that is 1080 Continental Valskin, Halo, Nonnas, Gritty, and OTE. And a massive thank you to all of them. They're absolutely key, so that we can say thank you to people who have donated through the course of the season and helped us cover off some of the costs. So one thing that if you're watching this, we would like you to do, and that is to get in touch by email if you have a view on the broadcast via the Facebook page and on the YouTube channels, or whether you'd like to see another platform. So this season, for the first season, as well as being on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel, the show has gone out on the Full Speed Events YouTube channel, and it's also gone out on Facebook. Now, Facebook takes 4 times as long as anything else because we are always challenged on the music rights, despite the fact we have express permission to use them, so it takes longer. We also have issues on the way through with YouTube compressing the video. So when you watch it live, you don't get the same quality of show as you do when you watch it on a replay. So the graphics you see as we come past the fields are nice, but they're even nicer. GCN need it. GCN want it. They're going to be paying us a lot of money for it. That's for sure. So the riders on the way through. At the moment, you see them in glorious Technicolor. However, as you can see as they come in and through, it looks quite nice. But if we were to go on Twitch and to give you a comparison, if you watch the championships, the My Woosh championships that we are covering over the next 7 days, if you go on to Twitch TV / My Woosh Live, you will see the difference between that and YouTube. We could use Twitch as well. We want your view. So if you're a geek, you've been watching this, you want to geek off on the definition and what looks nicest, have your say, email us. Otherwise, we'll make some executive decisions based on cost as well as based on the amount of time and basically faffing about involved with the various platforms. At the moment, Facebook is in major danger unless somebody has a really good case to keep it, because it is an absolute pain in the posterior, answering all the challenges on the fact that people think they have a copyright. Basically, they're just looking for details of the ownership of the game. So let us know what you think. DM it, email it. Email is the same email that you got your registration from if you've registered to ride. If you haven't registered to ride, you'll find the details on the website. You can get in touch with the star. Not giving my email out over the live YouTube feed, oddly enough. I'll do the social media one, so that's @MattFixPain. You can always DM me on there. Let us know if would it be a loss if we get rid of the Facebook feed? Would it be a benefit if you had a better, faster graphics? Or would you just like it on the old school YouTube feed? Super quick, because it will be faster on one YouTube feed. It will slow down the lag from when Rush shouts go, go, go to when we call it to you. Okay, group still holding together at the moment. We're on our way in to the climb on the Aqueduct KOM, the first real kickoff point. We're likely to see an increase in the pace. At the moment, I think we are about to get a bit of action coming the way of the riders. in the shape of the one and only Bear. I think on a flyby here, he's using the entire length of the bunch to get draft on the attack. Classic Zwift attack there. Russ going from the very back, laying off, winding up through the bunch, using the draft of the entire group to build up speed and momentum. Want to watch how it's done, kids? Yes, well, Russ knows this game inside out. He's got the gap. The chase is on. And look at the damage that's been done behind him. You can see there are lots of riders now in major, major trouble behind Russ here. So over the top we go. This is the push in and through Mazzoni, Oliver, Varty, Downing, Murray, Oxenham, Williams up there, Taylor up there, Atkinson up there. They are continuing to squeeze. So as they go through, Oxenham right on the shoulder, Russ Downing there in the traditional black with that yellow Tron bike. Atkinson having to push in. The power up on the way through. We're seeing them getting engaged now repeatedly as these riders come diving down. So as they coming in through on to this section of cobbles on the far side of the globe. Now onto this descent, you can see this group really has been broken here. Now let's take a look at what that gap is likely to be. This is the back of the group, and I think there are going to be 23 or 24, 23 riders in front. I'm going to take a little bit of a check. I make it 23. We'll be able to tell. It's going to stabilize itself out, hopefully, in a second. So 22 riders in that leading group at the moment. That group is together, but it is 23 riders up at the front of the ride, left out the 66 starters. So we came in and through. So the riders are starting to be distant. So in group one up at the very front, 22 riders. This is the second group on the road. So Wilson run it. Neil from Gritty in there. You got John Hind in that group. Steve Wilson also in there. Matt Nunn in there. Then in group three, or the front of group three, it's Malin, then Donahoe, Tracy Seeley. They are currently effectively a four-rider group. That is group three. Just behind them, Starkey, just off the pace. It's going to be group four. Then this is group five if you're in with Mr. James. Group six is around Carl Johnson. Group seven around Jason Stevens and Rob Wimble. Group eight is the Gillard Andy Hawes group. So that's group eight on the road. Group 9, well, it's got Flynn and Woodward in sort of 9 and 10, and then the red bus is the 11th group on the road since that Go 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 has gone. Remember, our leaders already are well on their way in and around and making their way towards the side of the climb to go up on to the top. You can just see they're going to be coming round this turn. Those gaps have opened up and are pretty much set in stone. I don't think anybody's going to come back to this leading group. It's got volume, it's got class, it's got pace, and it has left the next group. They're basically the whole of this horseshoe behind. It's 21 seconds, and that group of riders are a group that are now 6 strong. So 6 riders chasing 22 riders up the road. That's only ever going to end one way, and that is with the 22 increasing the pace and opening up the gap. We're in with Harry Hudson. Is it going to be Harry's day today? So your leading group just trying to make the way in. One rider cleared the front, Leon Mazzoni. Oh, Isaac Oliver going for the long one. I'll tell you something, this young man has got some serious kahunas. He has gone hard. He's gone to try and get everybody gone on the way through. absolutely brilliant to see. Isaac Oliver from the Young Bonk crew. Don't forget, give them support. Regular race organisers in the Yorkshire region. Lots of younger riders in there as well, doing some amazing promotions. So without them, we don't get rides. So here we go. Isaac Oliver starts to wind it up. He's on to the climb. 8 seconds is the gap from Isaac, who is going to challenge. The group are coming. They have not fractured yet. So let's take a little bit of a check. It's just starting to thin on the front. Oliver goes in and through. Now comes Lindley leading the pack up here. Then it's Hudson, then Wild, then Oxton, Murray, Atkinson, Simonite, Williams, Wayne Barron here. Good to see Wayne back in with this leading group. Again, Wayne, one of our regular riders on the Chaingang, and another rider who we know is going to be in action. And great to see him here. He will catch back up again in real life, buddy. So the gap coming down at the moment, and looks like it's down to 2 seconds now behind Isaac Oliver. The group coming up has not thinned out a huge amount. One or two people losing contact, including Tristan, our very last winner on the DCG this season. So Murray comes up alongside him in the purple there. Doesn't quite get over the top of Oliver. Now he goes on to the front. So the ride being led out by Nick Murray at the moment. Just taking a look back here. Liam Mazzoni hovering dangerously near the front here. Is Leon going to go for this? Harry Hudson, we know, has got a phenomenal kick up here. Surely we're going to see a small group of riders in here. Wayne Barr's gone to the front now. Wayne clearly feeling strong. So it's at the moment just sitting in that pack. Oxenham alongside now. Hudson goes over the top. We've just seen Hudson pulling 7.5 watts per kilo. So Harry Hudson starts to wind it up. Mazzoni goes after Hudson. He knows not to let him go. And look at this, Mazzoni comes up over the top here, and he's starting to open a little bit of a gap here on Hudson. Let's see if these two can work together. They need to have some numbers. It's very difficult to solo to the finish. Damien Clayton has been able to do it in the past on this, but there are very few people who can solo clear of a hard chasing group on that descent. You need 2 or 3 riders together, and it looks like Hudson, Mazzoni and Ramsbottom could well be your trio who are able to stay clear. They've got 6 seconds on a chasing John Wild with Russ Downing on his heels at the moment. Then it's Lindley, then it's Varty, then it's Murray. Well, 3 riders cleared, 9 seconds now the gap. If we take a little bit of a zoom out on the map, you can see that we have got 2 right-hand turns and 2 left-hand turns prior to the QOM banner. So the turns are ticking down now, 14 seconds between the chasing group and the leaders. And Lindley, I think, surely must be kicking himself. One of our real fast sprinters who can climb as well. He's not right in the mix at the moment. You get a great shot from our camera shot down to the group's fracture behind the yellow beacon, who's doing a lot of the work on the climb. But realistically, if we go up on our helicopter shot, you can see the leaders at the moment are coming in towards the penultimate turn on this climb. And then we'll take the left-hand turn. So 3 leaders here. Hudson, Mazzoni and Ramsbottom around that right-hand turn. They've got the gap. Where are those chasers? Are they going to come into view? They're not. We're going to go out of camera shot here on our helicopter camera view. before we can see the chase. Let's get our drone. It's absolutely rocketing up behind these riders to try and get past them. By the time they get to the top of the climb, we're going to go in with them. We're underneath KOM. You can just see the pillar of light. That's the chasing group headed by Downing. Over the top they go. That's the fastest time of 4:50 on the climb. 4 minutes 50 on the climb. Russ is going to lead the group up here. He's got a few seconds on them at the moment. It was a 4:50. Now, what's the time going to be from Russ as he goes in through? Just waiting to see the update as the riders go in and through. I think Morris just coming through now. Varty goes through. He's got a 5:15. It shows you there's a substantial gap in front. Then it's Williams, then Simon, then Leach, then Oliver, then Barker. There's big gaps in here. And it looks to me like the advantage is going to be with them now. Mazzoni pushing on over the top. He's got a few seconds here on Ramsbottom and on Hudson. And they're going to have to work together to get Leo Mazzoni back. You don't give this man an inch, or that's 2.54 centimetres for the metric amongst you. So Mazzoni leading. 4 seconds gap to Ramsbottom. Hudson on the wheel of Ramsbottom. These two have got to work together. Mazzoni at 5 seconds up the road. They've got nearly 55 seconds to the gang behind Murray, Downing, Wild, Varty. That is the nearest riders. You've got Taylor, Oliver, Williams, Barker, Phil Oliver in there, then Taylor, Leach, Paul, Simonite, Lindley, Atkinson. Big chasing bunch, but the man that they are chasing, it is the man just at the front of your screens. That is Leo Mazzoni, who's got the gap here. He has opened up on everybody else, and at the moment he's still holding 5 seconds on the chasers behind. He's absolutely keeping the pedal to the floorboards here on his way through. So Ramsbottom again having to put a push in here. Hudson sat on his wheel. Mazzoni still holding them off. You can see there in his rear view mirror, we've got to come round this slight right-hand turn and then into the slightly tighter left before we drop down to the base of this climb. These three well clear. It's 43 seconds back to Nick Murray. Then it's going to be Downing. He's currently at 46 with Wild a little further back. Lynn is even further. This is going to be very interesting indeed. Now the two chasers have caught up with Liam Mazzoni, Ramsbottom and Harry Hudson. These are your triumvirate of talent, to use a Porterism on the very last Donny Chaingang, the man who I cut my teeth with co-commentating with. So who's your money on? Leo Mazzoni sprint, Ramsbottom sprint, or Harry Hudson sprint? Because that's what it's going to come down to. Surely nobody is going to be able to break away at this stage. The chasers behind, well, we can't even see the yellow beacon of Russ Downing. At the moment, we're just taking a look back. We can't see them now. Who's going to feel brave? Who's going to get the rush? Who is going to use the aerodynamic advantage of sitting in the slipstream as they make the way down here? At the moment, you can see Ramsbottom's on the very front. Mazzoni is in there. And a little ghost in there by Hudson. Didn't work. I don't know who's looking to try and sprint clear. We're going to come around this turn here. Mazzoni's going to open it up first. We're going to dive on in with them. So Mazzoni opens it up, but it's Harry Hudson who's leading it out. Hudson has got the kick. Hudson takes it. It's Hudson from Mazzoni from Ramsbottom. In that order as they came in through the line. This is a chasing group behind. Did they poke the bear enough? Russ is trying to wind it up. He's got Nick Murray for company. But look at Lindley go. Lindley has got the burners ignited. He's got over the top. It's going to be Lindley who's going to take the chasing sprint from Williams, from Downing, from Murray and from Wild. Leach, Simonite, Varty, Oliver, Barker coming in through Atkinson through the line. Next up is going to be Wayne Barr. Top 16 riders through in the blink of an eye there. Great riding. So here we go, the rider coming in now is going to be Wayne Barr. He's got 14 seconds on the riders behind. This is going to be a battle between Osborne and Tristan as Mick Hawkins, so Hawkins is here. Is Hawkins going to have the kick on Osborne? He is, I think. Oh, look at this, Osborne has gone and Osborne's going to have it. Osborne gets it from Hawkins that time. Then it's going to be Oxenham. And it's going to be Tristan from Sheffield Cycles now. He's pushing hard. This is all the way to line. This is a brutal sprint. Oxenham just holds off Tristan. Tristan, of course, our winner of our final set of goodies. Those two have got no legs left. Fantastic riding. Next up, this is going to be John Hind, who's going to come in just ahead of Simon Runnett. Big thank you, Simon, not just for riding, but also for all of the social media work you've been doing for us. Neil in, and Neil from Gritty comes through. Don't forget, of course, when we come back in September, you'll also be able to catch up with Neil and I on the Crosscast. Next through is Sadler, then it's going to be Dixon, another of our Bolsover District CC riders. So John comes in ahead of Matt Nunn having to sprint here. He's got Bolton coming at pace behind him. Bolton's going to come through just in front of Wilson. Thank you everybody who's done all of the messages. So Russ is done on here. Don't forget you can catch up with Russ, not just at Bike Flex and at Cycle Espresso, there's the Rocket Espresso machines, but you can also catch up with him at Pinarello Days and Assos Days as well. Keep an eye on his social media feeds. Next is going to be Paul Mallon, another of our regulars on the Chaingang, just ahead of Craig Forrester. Forrester making his way in over the line in front of the two stalwarts of the In Real Life DCG, along with Keith. So on their way through. So Tracy and Vin in and over the line. Then it is going to be a Dixable making his way in. He has company at the moment with John Gillard. So Dick going in with John Gillard on his heels. Then it's going to be Doug Main. Good to see Doug on the gang once again. He's just ahead of Andy Keyworth. So Doug Main will be our next finisher here. It's going to be Andy Keyworth, who's ahead of Foxy. Foxy chasing into the line. Big thank you to Foxy for her duties as beacons as well. I know you're going to be heading up for some more of the in real life meetups. Then it's going to be Chris James, who's going to be making his way in. Chris currently in 39th position. He's ahead of John Garfoot. We know that John's on his way through. So we have 40 out of about 55 riders, I think, still left on the road. As John Garfoot comes through again. John, another of our regular beacons for the Royal Navy Royal Marine Cycling Association. Then it's going to be our group. Now, this is going to be interesting. You've got Sean Ferron, you've got Carl Johnson, Jason Stevens in here, all of which you can sprint. The man who's gone for the early kick is going to be Sean Ferron, and I think Sean has got the timing just right here. He went early enough to take it in through the line, so it's going to be Ferron who comes in. Then it's going to be Carl Johnson, then Jason Stevens, then it's going to be Shaw. Rob Wimble rounds the corner. He's got a gap on Pattison. So Rob comes in and through ahead of Gary Pattison. Don't forget, of course, Russ is heading out in May, which is not all that far away, to Mallorca. I think there's still gaps left, still a couple of spaces left on there. So if you fancy going out and riding with Russ in Mallorca, then jump on the Facebook pages. All the details linked to that. Any questions, pop them down. They're the team, they're always looking and keeping an eye on that. Make sure you keep on that Facebook page. to catch up. We're going to be out here for the Tour de France coming. We're going to be not quite past the front door, but definitely within riding distance. And hopefully be a few people out for that as well. Chris Canham coming in and through. Now, little bit of a gap, not much of one, because on their way in, this is going to be Rory Gillard. So Rory in the company of Matt, Chris and Andy Hawes. So this group will be our next group coming in. We can rely on Andy to give us a sprint as he comes in. He's at the back of this group in that red jersey. He's going to, I suspect, wind it up as he comes in. We've hit that sprint. Who's got the power left? Gillard, Hawes or Chris as they come round. Gillard's going to head this up. They're coming in towards the line. Andy puts in the draft here and gets out of the saddle. He's kicking at 10 watts per kilo. It's going to be Andy who's going to lead them through under the line. Then it's Gillard. Then it is going to be Matt Crease coming through. Great riding, guys. Next up is going to be Ruby Isaac, one of our younger riders and a rider who has graced us with a presence on a regular basis throughout the course of the season. A massive thank you to Ruby. Always thank you to Ruby for the social media as well. A real social media star. Great to see Ruby's riding in increasing pace, speed, skills. Well, I don't know if you can increase on the skills of Ruby. Anybody who can do what Ruby can do on a set of rollers is obviously incredibly talented indeed. Behind Ruby, we've got Jim Flynn, then Matt Woodward, and then we've got our bus, which is a little bit further back. So we'll be doing a little bit of housekeeping between Mr. Woodward and our red bus being driven by Chris Ball tonight. So don't forget the WOW DCG, the DCG, all a co-production between Russ of Donny Cycling and ourselves at Full Speed Events. Myself, Matt Payne, and Emma Martin putting together the commentary, the admin behind the scenes, the ticketing, and making sure that we look after our riders. Russ all over the social media and making sure, of course, that he's got the routes dialed for the DCG as well as leading those. Ruby Isaac, one of our runners who's benefited from that. Ruby with that final kick into the line. Well done, Ruby. Coming back after that tech issue part way round. And Ruby just ahead of Jim Flynn. Jim, another of our regular riders on the DCG, on the Donny Chaingang. Great to see Jim week in, week out here and enjoying the rides, which is kind of what it's all about somewhere along the lines. If you're not enjoying it, probably time not to bother doing it. It's got to be fun somewhere. Don't forget, guys, go make sure you stay in touch. Make sure you stay on the social media through the summer. We're going to be trying to keep up with what everybody gets up to whilst we are in action. You can catch up with us all over the place as well. We will be seeing Jim hopefully back sprinting his way over the line like he is now. Come the summer, the same with Matt Woodward. Matt can be our next rider in. So Matt is our next rider in and through the line now. He comes in and through. We've got a little bit of a gap to our Beacon group who are on the descent. So whilst they descend down and this group makes their way in towards the line, I think we should have time to manage a little bit of housekeeping. So thank you very much for watching now. Little bits of housekeeping whilst the guys keep on going down there. Don't forget, you can catch up with us. We're going to be putting words to the action. It's lots and lots of great events. We regularly broadcast every single Sunday the My Wish Sunday Race Club. That Sunday Race Club, esports cycling. That race club comes out with massive prize money in the qualifiers and in the finals. If you want to keep on riding, make sure you dive on there. There is no Sunday Race Club this Sunday because we kick off tomorrow with the championships, the My Wish Championships. That is 7 stages over 8 days, a $1 million prize fund, equal prizes for men and women. We're going to be covering that. I'm going to be with Emma, and we're going to be covering the women's and the men's races in their entirety, and we reckon that's about 6 hours of broadcast. In addition to that, we'll be back every Sunday with the Sunday Race Club. Now, that's usually me, but sometimes it will be Emma, and it'll be a little dependent on what else we've got on, because we have lots on. We are going to be at all of the National Crit Series. So if you want to see us in real life, catch up with us there. Going to be on the mic for all of the National Crit Series, for Ilkley, for Otley, for Colne. We're going to be in Newark. We're going to be across at a new one, which I'm not allowed to tell you about. And we're going to be at all of those races. So we're going to be at Sheffield. Everything, the lot. So we're going to see you at those. We're also going to be covering all of the mountain bike XCE for the UCI. That is the mountain bike eliminator. Great show. Love working on it. It's 1 hour. Absolutely manic action. 4 up racing. 2 through to the next set. Right the way through to our finals. Top flight mountain bikers in an urban environment. Mountain biking the way around town. Great eliminator format. Please, please, please give it a watch. It'll be out on the UCI YouTube channel. Don't forget you can VPN anything from anywhere in the world these days. It's really easy to do. We're also going to be in Glasgow. We're going to be covering a lot of the disciplines in there. So we're going to be covering downhill mountain bike. We're going to be covering cross country, XCC, the short track, as well as the team relays. Also going to be covering some of the BMX and potentially the indoor cycling as well. So please do make sure you catch up with us. That's going to be coming out on the BBC as well as out on lots of different channels. Remember, most of this stuff going worldwide. Also going to be back in the autumn with the Crosscast. So we'll be covering all of that. Don't know the score at the moment with the cyclocross. Hopefully going to be involved in some of the UCI cyclocross through the course of the winter. And don't forget, of course, we will be back in September with the Chaingang. And that we'll get those dates out to you on the Facebook page. You can catch up with us on social media. Russ is at Russ Downing. Don't forget, he's at Matt Fixpaint and at Biking Emma. And of course, guys, stay in touch on that Facebook page. The Facebook page is there all the way through the year, so make sure you get on that. Really, really do appreciate your support on there and the support of the other riders. Now, here we go. Coming in to the finale, our final group of riders, our final red beacon of the Donny Chaingang for this season is on his way in to the line. Chris Ball is going to be bringing them in and across in style. Here they come. This is the end of our very final Donny Chaingang. And look at that, they come across together. Ken Kerrigan, Rowan Dubash, and your red beacon. It is Chris Ball. A thank you to each and every one of our riders for your support on the way through. A massive thank you to everybody on the DCG gang for donating. And a big, big thank you to the guys who look after the people who donate. And they are the people that you can see on your screen to the side of me. They are the people who support the members of the DCG gang, to OTE, who have started and finished, to Gritty, Halo, Nonnas, Velaskin, Continental, and to 1080. Please do support the people who support the Chain Gang. Without them, this does not happen. It is that straightforward. So please, 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 guys, make sure you give them your support. Put your hard-earned cash to real people who support the gang and ride on the gang regularly. They are the people who make it happen. So a big, big thank you to them. A big thank you to Emma for not just looking after the WOW DCG all the way through, from looking after beacons and planning the routes, as well as jumping on the mic, but also for making sure that somewhere along the lines, I remember to look after the voice in between the shows as well. A massive thank you to Russ. It's an absolute pleasure working with Russ, and Russ will be out and about. Make sure you keep up with him. But from me, Matt Payne, from everybody on the rides, a thank you to our riders and our viewers. You guys make it happen. Stay safe. We'll see you again soon.